Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Vancouver Aquarium, and welcome to the Arctic Talk Show, the Northern Spotlight, where we take you along for the ride with some of the most amazing members of our team. And today we are joined by the wonderful Troy Neale. He's currently the Assistant Manager of the Marine Mammal Department, but he has held every post from General Helper, Horticulturist, right up to Marine Mammal Trainer. So we're going to be talking to him about the ins and outs of marine mammal training. Now, you did get a very unique start into the training business. How did this all come about?
I did. Well, I actually started working here a number of years ago, back in 1995 when I was still in high school, and I had a part-time position, and my title was General Helper. And since then, I've gone through worked in the engineering department, would clean filters and do all sorts of different things down there, to working in the grounds department, and for a number of years I was the horticulturist. I looked after all the plants in the Amazon gallery for a period of time, but I've been working with the animals since 2000, so over 15 years now, almost 16 years.
Wonderful. And within the realm of working with the animals, you've held a number of different posts. What was your first sort of early post?
Well, I started off here working as just a trainer. I was working with our dolphins back when we had Belugas, our killer whale, and white wings, our dolphins. So I was one of the trainers for white wings. And so I did that for a period of time before I moved on to working with the stellar sea lions. Although I worked with every animal, so one of the great things about this facility is that we have the opportunity to be able to work with so many different animals here. And so I wasn't just a dolphin trainer. I was working with the belugas and the sea otters and the seals and that. But I moved on in, I guess it was about 2003. I started working with the stellar sea lions.
And that was at the open water facility?
Yeah, well, here at the aquarium as well as the open water facility. I guess in 2007 I took over as the coordinator out at the open water facility, doing our research and out there and overseeing that project, and which has been just absolutely fantastic. So I mean, from a training standpoint, what we get, all the different things that we can do with the animals in that kind of a setting is just fantastic.
And what kind of research do we do over at Open Water?
Well, it's all based around physiology and energetics. And specifically for the open water site, it's about diving physiology and diving energetics. So we've done all sorts of different studies, looking from how large of a fish a sea lion can actually eat while underwater without having to bring it to the surface, because that's a huge energetic cost. If they have to come back and forth from depth to the surface to eat the fish. But what's better? Is it better to eat a really big fish or lots of small fish? So it's an interesting thing. So these are some of the different studies that we've done, and I think that's Sika up there. So she actually, in some of our studies, she actually was able to eat a salmon that was just over 60 centimeters long.
Wow!
And it was about that deep. So about 20 centimeters deep.
And that's under the water?
That was underwater without having to bring it to the surface.
Interesting. And I noticed they have these harnesses that they're wearing.
Yep.
What is that for? How does that work?
Well, the harness is it has a couple different functions for us. Primarily, it's a way for us to attach different data loggers to the animals. So we have accelerometers that look at how fast and how they're swimming through the water. We have a tracking tag that we'll put onto the harness so we know where the animals are at all times. There was a study that we were doing trying to develop some of the different tags, because a lot of the things, researchers will come to us with an idea, something that they want to look at on wild animals. But we do a lot of the testing for the tags to make sure that those tags are going to work the way that they're
robust.
Want them
they're not going to fall off on the first try.
Not going to fall off, but also going to get the data that they're looking for. So they can go and develop some of these tags, but do they really get the data that they really want to get? So one of the tags that we were actually developing was it's very cool. It was a type of accelerometer. Okay. But it also had a gyroscope in it.
Oh, so it measures like planes.
Yeah, it measures pitch and roll and all of that.
Interesting.
So some of the data that actually came back from that, we can actually look at all of the different aspects. We can basically create a 3D image of how the animals actually swim through the water.
Wow.
And so we can look at how that relates to the energetic cost of them doing different behaviors, because that's a lot of what we study with our sea lions is the energetics and how do they actually use the energy they get from their food and in different situations. And so by being able to correlate some of those different body movements to what we know how much energy they're actually using, we can get an idea of really what's going on. And then that leads into the research that we do on animals out in the wild as well. And so, we do a lot of studies here at the aquarium, at our open water site, but we also do a lot of studies on the animals in the wild as well. And really, you have to put all of those together to really get an understanding of what's going on with the animals properly.
So the animals that are working on the research at the open water site, you take them out onto a boat and they go sort of free swimming?
Totally free to swim. Yeah. So we have it's a separate location from the aquarium, and we have 4 female stellar sea lions that we house at that site. And we have a transport boat. We take them out into primarily around Burrard Inlet, Indian Arm, for anybody around Vancouver who knows the area. And we take them up there and we do a lot of our diving and swimming studies with them. And they're completely free to go. The harness is the only thing that is on them. And again, we have that tracking tag so we know where they are. But they stay very close.
Interesting. With us. So they have that really tight relationship, so they're coming back to you after it.
Yeah. I mean, as you can see from some of the pictures, it's definitely, it's part of how we work with the animals, for sure.
And it's only female sea lions you work with?
Yeah, because that's the main focus of the research. So a lot of the research that we're doing is focused on looking at understanding the populations, what's going on with the populations out in the wild. And honestly, females are really the most important part of that population. With stellar sea lions and with a lot of animals, with stellar sea lions in particular, it's a very low percentage of males that actually breed in the wild, because they're very large animals. It's very competitive. And so you have a high population of females and a low population of males in order to produce the offspring.
Interesting.
So, I mean, if a male can hold a very large harem of females on the beaches, and so if you have 20 females for one male, 20 females to produce 20 offspring, one male. Females are the most important part. So that's what we look at, is especially with the younger female population, that's where we're seeing a lot of the declines in those populations over the last number of years.
Okay, and with the sea lions that you have worked with, do you have any specific fond memories of a specific sea lion or anything like that?
Oh, I mean, every animal's a little bit different. That's one of the things we often get asked, do you have a favorite animal and this and that? I mean, yes, obviously we have certain favorites and things like that, but I mean,
your children.
I mean, they are. I mean, I spend as much time. I spend probably more time with the animals that we have here than I do with my own kids or my own dog and that. So yes, they are. I mean, they're very much part of my family, and each one has got its very distinctive personality, and there's all sorts of cool little things. I mean, we've one of our animals, Hazy, this is Sika. Sika's just a phenomenon. Oh, this is Hazy. This is Hazy here. And Hazy, she's just an awesome animal to work with. I mean, you can't really get much of a better animal than this. She's always there, wants to work and play and this and that. And I spent a lot of time before she went out to the open water site getting her trained and ready to go into that. And we had learned a lot. She was the 3rd animal that we took out to our open water site.
Interesting.
And so I spent a lot of time working on her, and then we took her out, and we had learned so much from the other animals that we had moved out there beforehand, that she was able to just adjust so quickly, and it was, did the first session with her, and she was just fantastic. And I mean, so excited to be able to see that, and with all the hard work that we put into it, and of course her, because you can't do anything with those animals.
And now primarily you work with the belugas here at the aquarium.
Yeah, so I'm back here now. I came back, and a lot of people haven't known me as well back here because I've been gone for so long. And but I'm back looking after the belugas and the porpoises and the sea otters specifically. Yeah.
So the belugas and porpoises have now moved in together. That's a new thing. Talk to me about the process. How does something like that come about when it comes to moving?
Well, it's something that we've been looking at for a period of time, just to from a habitat standpoint, from an enrichment standpoint with the animals, also potential research standpoint with the animals. And I mean, we've already, since moving them in together, we've had our Valeria Vergara, who's a big researcher here with the aquarium, doing vocalization studies with the belugas, both here and as well as in the Arctic. And it was really interesting putting the animals together to see some of the different vocalizations and the interaction that way. So I mean, it presents a great opportunity for us for both animals and from us as trainers to be able to put them together and work with them together. I mean, and already it's been great. It's been fantastic.
It's been going all swimmingly.
Oh, it's all swimmingly, yes, for sure.
Well, I'm really interested to see what comes out from the vocalization research, because I know when it comes to the frequencies that they communicate in, it's very different with overlapping areas. So I'm really interested to see what comes out from them being together.
Yeah.
But with regards to what else is next for the Marine Mammal Department, anything upcoming that we should be looking out for?
Oh, it's the porpoises, and we're still in that acclimatization period with them. So, hopefully we'll be able to down the road here. We're going to be doing more and more incorporating them into some of the shows that we do, because we haven't had a real show with them before. But it does take some time. They got to learn some. They're adjusting to the new habitat already quite well. We're quite happy with the progress. And so and then who knows? If we're obviously everything from a funding standpoint, looking for our re-expansion, the next phase of our re-expansion, and hopefully we can build a big new Canada's Arctic, and that'll be a fantastic habitat for the animals. We're really excited about all of that for sure.
Yeah, amazing. Well, it's nice to see the porpoises being highlighted with the belugas together and all the research that's been coming out. I hope everything's going well and will continue to go as swimmingly as it has with those animals and their continued training. I'd like to thank you, Troy, for joining us today for our Arctic Talk Show. It's been very insightful into how all of this research happens and the amazing work that we do. But thank you all for joining us. If you'd like to see more of our Arctic Spotlight, you can head to our YouTube channel. There's more videos on there. Or if you want to learn a little bit more about the Arctic campaign that we've been talking about with the new beluga habitat, you can head to our website, vanaqua.org/Our North. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful rest of your day.